Hi there, my name is Pauline Johansen, and I thought maybe I would read you a story today. It's from my new book, Objects in Mirror Are Closer Than They Appear. The chapter I'm going to read is called Poor is a Four-Letter Word. I hope you like it. Some people have found ways to deal with their humble beginnings. They glamorize them or turn them into an object lesson. They talk about the resiliency they build, the strength of character, the ability to deal with challenges and misfortune and keep on smiling as you climb the ladder of success. The little orphan Annie approach to life. There's a huge section in most bookstores devoted to just such a tack. They have titles like, I Did and So Can You. You are what you say you are. Letting go of the past, embracing your future. When I was a kid, we were just poor. It was part of who we were, like being immigrants and having a father who spoke with an accent that no one but we could understand. We weren't Irish potato famine poor or eating dirt poor, although some of us did this by choice, or running around with bare feet in winter, or smelling like you didn't have running water poor. We were just the kind of poor that describes your current situation and hints at your future possibilities. The kind of poor that makes it probable you will be given the second-hand coat of a girl in your school when you have a house fire that burns all your coats. And that girl will sing in the choir with you, and she will tell everyone who will listen that the coat you're now wearing, that one right there, it was hers. We were that kind of poor. Then Mom and Dad discovered camping, and they decided this was the perfect vacation for us. It fulfilled the number one requirement. It was cheap. We could do it together, and we could get away from the home. What more could you ask? Our camping vacations were our first tentative forays into the world of the middle class. But just in case we started to get too uppity, events came along to remind us of just who we were, what we could expect, and what could happen to those who got too big for their britches. When we went camping, we packed all our worldly goods in pillowcases. This had two advantages. You can get a lot in a pillowcase, and you can put your tightly packed pillowcases in a too small car, and the kids can sit on them. There were pillowcases for the little kids and the big kids. Mom and Dad had a suitcase, and there were communal pillowcases for things like shoes and boots and swimsuits. It was all very sensible and creative of our parents. They had it down to a fine art. They could have given seminars on packing in smart and efficient ways. Of course, you'd have to be willing to wear clothes that were so wrinkly they looked like Shar-Pei puppies. One year, like every year, the chaos of stuffing the car began. After lots of crying, swearing in Croatian, threats of canceling the whole thing, and general mayhem and confusion, we set off. It wasn't until we arrived at our campsite and were vibrating with the anticipation of that first swim that the horror became clear. The pillowcase with the swimsuits was still sitting by the door. This is where being poor comes in. Forget the car or home or job as arbiters of wealth. It is a swimsuit that made it clear who we were and what we could expect. It was a coveted luxury item, like whole milk or chicken cacciatore with real meat instead of chicken necks and backs. If you had money, you might still go and buy a new bathing suit. But when you're poor, this is not going to happen. They were not necessary for survival. If my mother hadn't married at 18 and proceeded to have children for most of her adult life, I think she could have run the world. She was mentally agile and able to imagine low-cost solutions. Today, a mind like hers would earn a spot as a CEO for a big multinational. She knew where to find efficiencies. She thought outside the box. And she was ruthless and unyielding. Our mother and father both lived in a world of decision-making into which we were not invited. They made secret, often painful decisions we were only privy to after they were made. The swimsuits were a prime example. To Mum, the solution was simple. She would buy inexpensive little boy swimming trunks. The older boys could wear their shorts, and the baby girls and boys could wear a t-shirt and a diaper. But what were adolescent girls expected to do? Mum found it hard to summon sympathy for teen or preteen girls. As a stunning young woman, she had had a clutch of boys who doted on her. She loved and came to expect that kind of attention. And then she married and lost her drawing power. But there was still a little voice inside her head that said, "You're beautiful and deserve to be admired and spoiled." This dream vision ran contrary to her current circumstances. She looked around at her daughters who were moving into that place where that kind of attention could conceivably be theirs. She loved us, but she wasn't going to do anything that drew positive attention to us or our developing bodies. Or maybe she was just being cheap. On a trip to the small town for boy suits, Mum bought little bras, tiny white triangles with straps and 2 eyes and hooks for our AAA breasts, and some thin blue flowered material. By the light of the campfire, she sewed covers on those little bra tops and cut out and sewed us matching shorts with neat little hems, finished off with elastic band waists. They screamed homemade, bad homemade, living in the country, milking cows homemade, we will never be cool, no one will ever like us homemade. I refused to wear mine. "Fine," said my mother in a flat, monotone voice. "Then you're not going swimming." I waited for the rant or the threats. They didn't come. My mother was the queen of unspoken guilt. She telegraphed it with her stance and her look. She didn't need to say what was clearly on her mind. Fine. I sat by that fire, ruining my eyes, sewing you a swimsuit, and that is how you thank me. And still, sitting by the edge of the lake, my back burning, head sweating, I refused to wear it. A weird suntan from t-shirts and shorts developed, and I refused to wear it. I never wore it. Anita wore hers. She wasn't able to withstand the glares of guilt. But I was made of sterner stuff. My anger sustained me. Sitting by the edge of the lake, chewing my nails, I thought of how stupid my mother was. Who asked her to sit by a campfire in the dark and sew those ugly swimsuits with tiny little stitches? Even here, by the lake, where we could have pretended we were just like everyone else, she had to make swimsuits that screamed, "No money here!" We were away from Our Lady of Sorrows Parish, where we were the family that was an object of pity with all those kids. We could have left all that behind. But even here, she wanted to make it clear we were poor. "We'll show you before you tell us." And it wasn't enough to admit we were poor. She wanted us to be poor and proud. In her world of hand-stitched bathing suits, she found some kind of dignity. Lucky her. So that's the end of that chapter. I hope you liked it. If you like my book, Objects in Mirror Are Closer Than They Appear, you can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And don't forget, if you read it and like it, you can post a review, and I'd appreciate that too. Thanks a lot, and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.